both the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives at a joint session where the President addressed the parliamentarians and the rest of Nigerians on this special day, June 12, Democracy Day, where we are celebrating 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule in Nigeria since 1999, projecting forward. Well, if you tuned in while the President was making his remarks at the National Assembly, this is the Nigerian Television Authority studio, and Professor Uwalike and Dame Pauline Tallinn have been my company for the past 1 hour or thereabouts. Now, let's continue our conversation, Prof. The President was quite engaging in the way he delivered his speech. So many issues here on the sheet for us to discuss. But let's try and prioritize it. Which is striking the most?
Well, let me say, start by saying congratulations to Mr. President. Congratulations to all Nigerians on this Democracy Day. The President spoke like a true Democrat. This President has reassured Nigerians of his commitment to democracy. And when you talk about democracy, of course, the key tenets of democracy, talking about the rule of law, talking about the freedom of speech, the President told us a while ago that he welcomes criticisms, okay, particularly when they are constructive. And in that audience, you also notice ambassadors that are there. People of other nationals who are also there. So what that tells you is that the international community is also watching. And from what has happened today, I want to believe that that will further, again, if you like, boost the confidence these people have in Nigeria. And it's going to also reflect in the kinds of business engagements we're going to have with them. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if all this also translates to, an improvement in capital flows, into Nigeria, because the international community will tend to have more confidence in what we are doing, given the assurance that, democracy is taking root, in the country. While the Speaker was, the Honorable Speaker, House of Reps, while he was talking, we were here. Them Pauline Tallinn and myself, we're here clapping, we're in the studio clapping, because he was really making the right points, hitting the nail on the head. He lauded the President for his reforms, the first subsidy removal, which everybody agrees was necessary, the unification of exchange rates. But he also said that he was also charging the President to now look in the direction of power sector reforms, energy reforms, because you can't really develop the economy without reforming the power sector. So he talked about the power sector, and he also talked about the need to make this democracy experience, very inclusive. When you talk about inclusivity, that's ensuring that every segment of the society, benefits from it. Okay, he particularly singled out the issue of, women, bringing in women, closer to governance. And I think that's important. Important in the sense that if democracy is about government of the people, for the people and by the people, and if you also take into cognizance the fact that in Nigeria today, given the population of women, and even the women voters, okay, who are the people that really vote when it comes to election? A lot of women are involved. So when eventually governments emerge, it stands to reason that a lot more women are brought to the table, to the part of the decision making process, and we have very capable women that can be engaged to contribute to development. So inclusion is very important, and part of that inclusion should also be to ensure that those out there, particularly the people in the informal sector, are enabled. The micro, small, and medium enterprise. The President in his speech talked about some of the measures being taken to ensure that happens, including the commercial credit scheme that was recently launched to ensure that people have access to credit. But I also think that going forward, it's important that some of these schemes, are scaled and also prioritized, to ensure that the benefits really trickle down. So for me, the challenge we're going to have now, before the president, the next 2 years, should be the one that, will ensure that some of the positive numbers we are beginning to see now in the macroeconomy, talking about the improvement in GDP growth. Last year, GDP grew by 3.4%, for example. Talking about even the recent one we just read, current account balances, turning positive, and so on. Some of the improvements we are seeing in the numbers, I want to see them, translate into improvement in the lives of the ordinary Nigerians, so they can feel the impact of the improvements you're recording in terms of the macro numbers. So that for me is the real challenge, going forward. And again, the president maybe alluded to that in his speech when he also recognized the fact that we need to produce, production. He talked about what they're doing in the area of agriculture, bringing in tractors and so on. You can't overemphasize the need to mechanize agriculture. Okay, if you have improved food output in this country today, I can assure you that inflation, rates will come down, because the major driver of inflation today is also the issues we are having in agriculture, particularly in the food belt regions of the country, where you have issues of, with insecurity. You also mentioned, what they're doing with respect to insecurity, and giving kudos to the military, who are also, making effort to end them, or to minimize the insecurity challenge we have in the country. But I want to believe that addressing the economic challenge will also go a long way. And by economic challenge, I'm talking about ensuring that the poverty level, for example, is addressed. By the time poverty level reduces, okay, including through, again, ensuring that, people can feed, okay, I can assure you again that the insecurity that are as a result of kidnapping, for example, will reduce. So food is very key, and happily he mentioned it, that the government has recognized that, and will do a lot in the area of increasing food output.
Prof, that's just a very excellent way to really speak to some of the issues that Mr. President raised in his speech. But coming back to the impalling talent, I saw the way you became a bit emotional when the Speaker of the House of Representatives made a passionate appeal to the President to see to the gender policy of 35%, at least as a starting point. With this, how does this really raise the value of the president as a gender-friendly person, and also in terms of the productivity that what women have to contribute to productivity, to governance, to education? Prof just spoke extensively about microeconomics to ensure that those common men and women in the market can feel the direct impact of the president. Surely this will go a long way in driving this dream.
Thank you very much, Ayo. The speech of the president was excellent. The speech of the Speaker of the House of Representatives was amazing. And I want to congratulate both Mr. President and members of the National Assembly, particularly the Right Honorable Speaker, for driving this process of ensuring that women are given these special seats. This will go a long way to change the narrative of national development. The absence of women on the decision table is what is causing the stagnation we are facing in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in Rwanda. Women have 61% in both the national and state houses of assembly. In the judiciary, 50-50. Why? Because women are wired to be good managers. women are wired to be the first teachers in the home. They manage the home resources, they manage the children, they manage the family. And when you are talking about national development, who grooms the future presidents? Who groom the future leaders? Who groom all the members that are in the Senate and in the House of Assembly? It's mothers. So when you have mothers, if they can groom the best president, why can't they be part of the process? And it is clear all the countries where women are part of decision making, good number of women, the level of meaningful development increases remarkably. So this is a good start. This is a good vision that the Right Honorable Speaker is driving. I commend his courage. I commend all the members that are supporting him. And that will go a long way to change the narratives of national development in this country. We are appealing for the amendment of the Constitution. Constitution, Section 48, to address the Senate, so that we can have one in each of the, one female in each of the senatorial districts, giving us 36 plus FCD, making it 37. While Section 49 of the Constitution to be amended for the National House of Representatives, we are requesting also for one special seats in every state, giving us 36 plus FCT 37. By the time we have these two, then one special seat in every state. That's the amendment of Section 117 of the Constitution. And then Section 91 of the Constitution is to address the state assemblies. By the time this is done, and we have these numbers in the Houses of Assembly and the National Assembly, I bet you the progress in the national development will shoot. And we are just requesting that this will be a trial process of 3 consecutive elections. By the time we have the first, the second, I bet you Nigerians will clamor for even more, because it will be participatory democracy. Yes. Everybody will be involved, because anything that affects the woman affects the family, affects the society, affects the nation.
I can really feel the passion that you're using to drive this, because it's really interesting to have you both in the studio. Now we're gradually rounding off our conversation, but remember, you can lend your voice to the ongoing conversation on Nigeria's democracy. Tell us, what needs improvement in Nigeria's democracy? What is your opinion? Is it boosting citizens' participation? Is it a major electoral reform that you want, or it is your choice, or is your choice internal party democracy? Well, the link is there on the screen. So scan our QR code to be part of the conversation. This online survey will continue for the rest of the day and climaxing during our network service news at 9 tonight. So let's round off our conversation here in the studio. Did I just get something? Oh, surely. Now that is very clear. It's a very interesting conversation with the backroom staff there. Now, as we conclude this conversation, please, let's try to, your concluding thoughts as quickly as possible. But I want you to find a way of infusing the national award that the president conferred on deserving individuals. Let me start with Dame Pauline Talin.
It was so soothing to hear the president acknowledge and confer these awards on deserving citizens that fought for the injustice of June 12th. I commend the president, and I believe that this will go a long way to also stir up the efforts in all politicians to stand for justice and truth. As I had earlier mentioned, the president is a guru in politics, and no past president has his credentials as far as politics is concerned. He's been an elected senator, and he walked through the struggle in politics. He will leave a lot of mark on the sands of history if he gets more women involved, because as the leader of the party, he has the final say. As the leader and president of this country, he has his body language. Once you support this, the National Assembly will fall in place. So I believe, and I borrow the words of Mr. Right Honorable Speaker, no one can do it except Mr. President. And no one can do it with Mr. President except the mother of the nation. Our there First Lady, Chief Mrs. Remi Tinubu, who was also a senator. She, as the mother of the nation, has to lend her voice to support this special seat for women and leave a lasting legacy for Nigerian women. That will go a long way to heal this country, to bring hope, to really make the renewed hope a renewed hope. Not just women, but those with disabilities should be also involved. No one should be left alone. Congratulations once more. Happy democracy.
Thank you so very much. I feel your passion and vibe about the gender parity. Prof. Waleke.
Oh, yes, I think I mentioned earlier the speech was, quite inspirational, very reassuring. I also think it was reconciliatory.
Okay.
Reconciliatory. If you look at the names of those that were given national honors, all from all over the country, the one that particularly struck me is the one to, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, all this while nobody has been mentioning him. The very role that he played in the June 12th struggle. It's been said that he happens to be the person that conducted the freest and fairest election in this country. So that recognition for me, struck a chord. And of course, the ones he also gave to the posthumous to the Ogoni Nine, Ken Saro-Wiwa. So for me, it was really, really reconciliatory and quite uniting. So I commend the president for the courage that he has demonstrated in giving out those national honors.
Well, Professor Uchenna Waleke, we're still waiting for possibly a national award will be conferred on you very soon for your contribution to the academic space. You are a professor of finance and capital markets. I'd like to thank you for your time and your insight on today's program to really let Nigerians know how the democratic journey has really fared and how to get the economy running and better. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Ayo.
Well, Dame Pauline Tallen has 2 national awards. She's a commander of the Order of the Niger and an officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, former deputy governor of Plateau State and also former minister of Women Affairs. I'd like to thank you for your time and also your passion to drive representation for women in Nigeria's democratic process. Thank you so much for your time as well.
Thank you, Ayo.
And that's been our conversation on this day, June 12, Democracy Day broadcast here on the Nigerian Television Authority. It's been interesting to have different aspects going round the country to join our colleagues also from the National Assembly, where Fisayo Ogunfoye held forth at some point before the president came around to speak to the nation on the floor and addressing the joint session of the National Assembly. On behalf of the entire production crew, today is June 12, 2025, 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. I'm Ayodeji Makinde from all of us here in Abuja and across the zonal centers. Thank you so much for your time. See you again next year. Remember, Nigeria can and will rise according to President Bola Tinubu. Play your part. Bye-bye.